Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for coming. Can you guys hear me in the back there? I'm going to try without the microphone. It just keeps switching out. Well, thanks so much for the introduction, Nicole. My name is Emile Rademeyer, and if I think back of something monumental in my life, I was a monumental pain in the butt. When I was a young kid, I was basically that kid that were the teacher's pet at school. I was that kid that would go and carry the teacher's handbag or bag or take an apple for them in the morning. I was that kid that the other kids just loved to hate. But I grew up, and that is when I made a monumental mistake. Who has made a monumental mistake in their life here? Yeah. Well, I joined a gang. We were called the Cowboys, and we were pretty tough, let me tell you that. But with anything gang-related, I kind of, it went from gangs to, drugs and women and all of that. And I kind of progressed through the ranks of the gang, where I was finally kind of a teenage gang member. And as part of the initiation, we had to drink beer at school with our pants down because we were like really tough back in the day. So there you go, me and my other gang members drinking beer. But I grew up and I got a job, and I've always really been into hair, so I thought I'll become a hairdresser. And I thought no better way to show off my skills as to be my first customer, but it didn't quite work out. So I've kind of tried all things, and now I ended up here today. So my name is Emile Rademeyer, and I am Creative Director of Creative Strategy at Vandal in Sydney. Vandal, why would you call a company Vandal? Well, basically we're a creative studio that crafts media-independent art, advertising, augmented reality, immersive experiences, etc. We're just around the corner, literally just over there. Beautiful, massive warehouse. We basically only have one person that works for us, and he's sitting over there. And he drives a bike. So if you drive a bike or even a car, you can literally drive into your desk on the inside. So please come and visit us. As Nicole mentioned, we run an art gallery at Vandal as well, Vandal Gallery. We've recently been named as one of the top 10 art galleries in Sydney, which is really something special for us, just doing it as a love, a side hustle on the side. Please check out our Instagram, etc., for our next gallery exhibition. We would love to see you all there. As the rest of the world, we couldn't do our exhibitions in the last couple of years, so we would love to have the next one open with a bang. But that's enough about me. I would like to talk about the theme Monumental. Now, if I think back of history and time, there's a couple of things that has happened to us, human species, that's been monumental and changing our life in a monumental way. And I reckon the first thing is sliced bread. Everyone always says this, it's not bigger than sliced bread, but I think there's something better than that. And that's a toasty. That's when you take the sliced bread and you make a toasty. So obviously fire. Think of us little cavemen and women back in the day running around. We need some warmth, so fire came forth, and I think that really changed us as a human species. But what's the point of sitting around a campfire if we can't talk and communicate? So obviously spoken words, rather than grunting or making noises, we could speak to each other, we could exchange information. Speaking of exchanging information, the printing press, that was really the big information explosion a couple of 100 years ago, that it wasn't just the elite that could consume information, but us normal peasants could also consume information. A couple of 100 years forward, and the internet, that was the digital information explosion. We could go sit at a desk and we could go anywhere in the world. The next step was, well, we could do it anywhere by our mobile phones. We could visit any place, we can consume any information anywhere. So if I think back of what has changed our lives in a monumental way, I have to say that it's technology. I mean, without technology, none of us would be here today. Excuse me. And I think that is monumental. I think technology is monumental. But there's something bigger on our horizon. And not just is it monumental, it's mental. And I'm going to show you that in this presentation today. Not just is it monumental, but it is absolutely mental, insane, bonkers, off the charts, nuts, however you want to describe it. Now, some of you might have heard this word, and I want you to bear with me, because some people think it's a fad. Some people think it is bigger than sliced bread. But today I'm going to talk about this concept called the metaverse. Who's heard of the metaverse? Who knows what it is? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the metaverse. Number one, we're going to define what is the metaverse. There's no point us talking about it if we don't know what it is. Number two, we're going to explore the metaverse. Number three, we're going to see at life in the metaverse. Number four, we're going to look at this monumental digital disruption that this thing called the metaverse is causing and will cause to your lives. I promise you that. And then number five, we are going to look at the future. So let's dive straight into it. What is the metaverse? I've got a little clip here of the experts telling it what it is. So I'm going to play it, and I hope the audio works, so bear with me.
Welcome back, guys. Between Bells and Cheddar News, the metaverse is taking the internet by storm, literally. The phrase, which has become increasingly popular in the last few months, is turning heads for a lot of reasons, one of which, nobody understands what it is.
Well, there we go. Thank you. Nobody understands what it is. Well, if they don't know, I don't know. Therefore, thanks for your time. It's been really good. Yeah, my name is Emile Rademeyer. I'm from Vandal. There's some fruit and croissants and everything. So thanks, guys. It's been real. Thank you. Aha, got you there. Got you there. Let's look again. What is the metaverse?
I feel like we have to start with the question, what is the metaverse? Do tell us.
Sure. I think you actually did a great job of teeing that up. The best way to think about it is a quasi-successor state to today's mobile internet, in much the same way today's mobile internet built off of the internet of the 90s and 2000s. In this instance, however, the iteration is not necessarily going into a smaller computer, but into virtual worlds, virtual simulations, enabling the purchase of things in the real world through those environments, but also in particular purchasing things that solely exist in.
Okay, I'm going to stop him right there. This is what I got. Blah, 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 quasi, mobile internet, something 90s, something mobile. Didn't quite get it. So, as they say in the industry, third time lucky.
Answer this question for us. What is the metaverse?
So the metaverse, thank you for having me, by the way. The metaverse is that convergence of physical, augmented, and virtual realities online.
Okay, great. If we want some real information, always ask a woman. I promise you, it is the best. Never ask a man for directions. Never do. We don't read manuals either, so there you go. This was really good. So what is the metaverse? It is the physical, augmented, and virtual worlds coming together online. Let's explore that a little bit further. We all live in the physical world. Here we are. We're all physical people, and we're all in the physical world here. But if you're my age, you didn't grow up in the digital world, you grew up in the physical world. So our telephone was connected with a wire to a wall. Couldn't walk around with our telephones. But what has happened since is this new digital world came forth. And not just did it get forth, but it's becoming bigger than the physical world. It is overshadowing the physical world. The digital world is overshadowing the physical world. So what happens if we start looking at the physical world through this digital lens that we live every day? Well, we see a new reality. And this new reality is a digital reality. This digital reality is the metaverse. Let me explain it to you. The progression. 30, 40 years ago, late 70s, early 80s, the US military started connecting computers to each other. They could communicate. Then the universities started doing that. You could go to the library in the university, could go sit at a computer, and you could go chat with somebody else at another university. That was the first web 1.0. From there, the second internet came. We call it Web 2.0. Now that is the World Wide Web as we know it today. So Internet 2, the World Wide Web. We could go anywhere, at any time, looking at all information that we want. Now simply what's happening here is we are seeing the next internet, which is also called Web 3. This next internet, the third incarnation of the internet, is what we call the metaverse. Very simple. The next internet is the metaverse. So why the metaverse? Now meta means next, beyond. So what's wrong with the universe that we live in? Why do we have to go to the next universe, the metaverse? Well, clearly because our lives are digital. Why am I saying that? Answer this question. Have you ever lost your mobile phone?
Yes.
What would you lose, your keys or your phone, if you have a choice?
Keys.
Exactly. Keys are physical, phone is digital. What's on your phone? All your communication, your photo albums, your contacts, your text messages, your letters, everything. If you lose your mobile phone, it's disaster. Your banking, everything is on this device. Your life is digital. You think it's physical, it is digital. Statistic time. I love some good statistics. They say the average person spent 6 hours a day online. Now, I don't know who they are. Even when I'm on holiday, I spend more than 6 hours a day online. I reckon, or me at least, spend at least 18 hours a day online. First thing I do, you check this thing. Last thing you do, you check this thing. You're online, you're at work, you're writing emails, you are watching Netflix. It's all digital, it's all online. You, I promise you, will also spend up to 18 hours a day online. You are more online, digital, than you are offline, physical. Humans will spend a total of 1 billion years online. This year alone. Scary. How do we do it? 3-second increments. If there's any marketers here, you've got 3 seconds to catch somebody's attention, or they're gone, they're to the next thing. 1 billion years online, 3 seconds at a time. Let's recap. What is the metaverse? Number 1, we're at the first internet, universities. Number 2, we have the World Wide Web. And number 3, the metaverse, it is the next internet, the third internet coming forth. What does it do? It combines all of this, the physical, the digital, the virtual, and the augmented worlds together into a new internet. All right, now that we know what it is, let's go and explore it. The metaverse is our new digital reality. It is a changed reality. The metaverse is an augmented reality. What does augmented mean? Augmented just means changed, a changed reality. Whenever I want information and a female is not available and I have to ask a man, ask one with a suit, because suits mean you're important and you know what you're doing. So let's ask this guy.
It's true that we probably all agree that we live in a real world. But is there more to reality than what the human eye can see? Is there perhaps more than one reality? In fact, what is reality? Simply put, reality is a series of perceptions which we collectively confirm to be true. For example, I feel like I'm here standing still, but in fact I'm zooming around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. Our society calls this collection of distinct experiences reality. So, what is augmented reality? It's not about twisting elements we recognize as real, nor is it about shifting what our eyes can see or enlarging the size of things around you. Augmented reality is a digital layer superimposed over our direct environment. The perfect symbiosis of virtual and analog. We now perceive more than the eye can see. Take this image, for example. Through the augmented reality spectrum, it might reveal something completely new and unexpected. Augmented reality is the fusion of real and digital. Its possibilities are endless. It allows you to plunge into this new world, a world you have created based on your personal needs, interests, and fantasies. A useful and engaging experience with endless outcomes. Reality is more than it used to be. What was once surreal is now technology. So open your mind to the infinite capabilities of our collective imaginations. Welcome to the new world of augmented reality.
The fusion of what is real and what is digital. Augmented reality. The physical world. Here we are. Let's not bag it completely out. We're still people. We still live in the physical world. Now, in the physical world, we have people. Here we are. We have money, credit cards, cash. We have shopping. We can go to shops. We can play games. There's real estate. There's art. That's all part of the physical world. Now, in exactly the same way, the internet evolved these physical themes into digital versions. For example, digital people, your Facebook profile, your Instagram profile. I'm always happy on Instagram. I'm always doing exciting things on Facebook. That's my digital me. Not always, I just pretend. We've got digital money, PayPal, for example. Online shopping that's really changed the physical shopping experience. Online games, digital real estate. What is digital real estate? Well, domain names, gambling.com, sex.com, digital real estate that go up in value over a course of time. And then obviously we have digital art as well. Beautifully on our Wacom tablet here we can create digital art. Now in exactly the same way, all these principles is evolving into the next internet, Web3. And I think that is monumental. I don't just think it's monumental, I think it is absolutely mental. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Is it just a fad? Is it like those, remember those 3D glasses with the colors? The red and the blue, and it was like the next best thing where you wanted to go to the movies and see it. Is the metaverse a fad just like that? I did some research. So I looked at some articles online, so let's have a look. Metaverse crypto Decentraland up $1 trillion opportunity. Ask my colleague Philip here. I cashed out my super and I invested it in a metaverse land called Decentraland. Am I going to lose all my money? Maybe. If I'm JP Morgan, they think it's a $1 trillion opportunity. $1 trillion, that's pretty big. Number two, Microsoft frames $69 billion activation as a metaverse move. Next one, Tesla's Bitcoin strategy is working, the annual report suggests. YouTube is eyeing up everything for NFTs and Web3. Crypto market is over $2 trillion worth at the moment. The world's biggest exchange, Binance, invests $200 million in a 106-year-old publishing arm of Forbes. Gucci buys land in the Sandbox. Grand Theft Auto, NFTs. Red Bull Racing, $150 million. New Alfa Romeo SUV, NFT. Pre-orders of Samsung, NFT. Uber will absolutely accept Bitcoin. MasterCard, NFTs. Disney readies metaverse push, as the CEO calls it, the next big storytelling frontier. Now I know what you're thinking. I scoured the internet to find all these articles to prove my point. No, I didn't. This is just the last 2 weeks. So this is when I was preparing it the last 2 weeks. There you go, February 16. Okay, last month, because I stopped preparing 2 weeks ago. There you go. So let's recap. We've got the physical world, and everything from the physical world went to the digital world, and now everything from the digital world is moving into the metaverse. That's where we are. Okay, life in the metaverse. Let's go and explore it. Pretty simple. Life in the metaverse is digital. Thank you. So we've got all these digital things that we looked at before. We put it all together, and we get the metaverse. Let's have a quick look. One of the quotes there said something like, people are spending real money on virtual goods that doesn't exist, and it's baffling. So I just want to go into that point a little bit further, and I want to take one of those key things that we looked at. We looked at real estate, we looked at shopping, we looked at clothes, etc. I want to look at art. So I want to show you something artistic in the metaverse that you can buy, a work of art. It's called Great Pixel. That's it. Well, actually not, because I had to scale it up 1,000% so that you can see it. So that's the work of art. It is Great Pixel. Now, if I think back about art, it's always like Picasso. Nobody liked what he was doing back in the day. They thought it was awful, had no value. Jackson Pollock, if you're familiar, was just splashes of paint, worth nothing. Now it's worth millions. So what would you pay for that? That Great Pixel there. Not any Great Pixel, that one. Anyone? Do I have $1? Will anybody give me $1? Dollar, thank you. Next one, $10. Who will give me $10 for that pixel? Thank you.
I'll give you $100.
100? $100 for that Great Pixel. Come on. Was that a hand?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So we're capping out at $100? No one? $1,000. $1,000 for the Great Pixel. Good, now we're talking. $10,000. $10,000 to Jim back there for the Great Pixel. Anyone else? More than 10,000. Do I have anyone? $100,000. We haven't met the reserve yet. $1 million for that Great Pixel.
Yeah, I'll just go.
$1 million? Thank you. That Great Pixel was sold for 1.7 million US dollars. 2.5 million Australian dollars. Do you want an apartment or do you want a Great Pixel? I'm going for the Great Pixel, and I'll tell you why. Case study number 2, CryptoPunks. I'm going to show you CryptoPunk number 3100. That's him there. How much would you pay for the CryptoPunk? And let's not play around this time. Let's start with an opening bid. 2 million? Thank you. Anyone else? More than 2 million? 2 million, 2 million, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million. Do I have 3 million, 4 million, 4 million, 4 million? Do I have 4 million, 4 million, 4 million, 4 million? Anyone? 5 million. 6 million. 7 million. 7 million for that CryptoPunk? 7,584,485 US dollars. That's over 10 million Australian dollars for that picture. Yes, you can copy the picture. Yes, you can put it online. Yes, I can take a photo of that. It's everywhere. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, rats, I missed out. Is there other ones that I can purchase? Well, yes, there was a cheaper one. CryptoPunk number 7,804. How much was this? Okay, $20,000 cheaper. $20,000 is real money. I mean, that's a bargain if you tell me. Now, maybe blue kind of pixel characters is not your thing and you're more into monkeys. So how about CryptoPunk number 6,965? Absolute bargain. 1,608,032. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking these guys wasted their money and they bombed out because it is a fad. And I reckon that's what that guy thought because he sold his CryptoPunk recently. He paid, what was it, 7.5 million US for it? How much did he sell it for? Let me repeat that for you. 24 million US dollars. That's over 32 million Australian dollars. Do you want a palace in, what's the fancy suburbs in Sydney? Redfern. Or actually, yes, do you want a palace in Redfern? Do you want to purchase the White Rabbit Gallery? No, I'll rather have that picture. Thank you very much. 24 million. But don't worry, there's plenty. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of them. They're generated by an algorithm. So if you missed out on any of those, please go and purchase one of the other ones. If you have a couple of $1 million, a couple of spare change to spare. All right, third and last case study. This is getting a little bit more familiar. Instagram. We all know Instagram. And there's this one Instagram profile that I've been following for quite some time. His name is Beeple. Has anyone ever heard of Beeple? Beeple is a digital artist, and basically his thing was he was a digital influencer. So every day he would post a digital image for free on Instagram. It's at Beeple_crap, so you can go and follow him, and you can see all his pictures there. You can download it for free, whatever you want to do with it. But what he did is he decided to sell his first 5,000 images that he did every day. He wanted to sell them. And very interesting, it went to a traditional auction house called Christie's to sell his, let's just call it his Instagram feed. How much would you pay for his Instagram feed? Well, I wasn't there at the auction, but it was very competitive. And in the end, his Instagram feed sold for $69,346,250,000 US dollars. Now that's probably 80 million Australian dollars for an Instagram feed that I can go download and have myself, or I can go view it anytime. The metaverse. I reckon that's pretty monumental if you ask me. But more than that, I don't just think it's monumental, I actually think it is mental. I mean, those figures are just crazy. That is real people buying virtual things with absorbent amount of money.
Only a few months ago, the term NFT was exploding all over the internet.
Now to the latest trend, the skyrocketing prices for digital art sold as NFTs.
The Christie's auction for digital artist Beeple coming to a close a few moments ago. The final bid, $69 million.
$69 million?
I think it probably means digital art is here to stay. anybody in this sector has to admit that they were shocked by the size and the ferocity and speed that the industry evolved so quickly.
The number of wallets that were purchasing NFTs skyrocketed. The number of transactions of NFTs across the board skyrocketed. And the prices for many NFT artists also went up.
Okay, let's recap that. So the digital world, and people are paying real money, not monopoly money, real money for these digital assets. I reckon it's pretty mental. So let's go to number 4, a monumental digital disruption. I reckon that's pretty disturbing, all of that. So let's have a look of some other things that might have caused a bit of a digital disruption in the days. I think there's a world market for maybe 5 computers. IBM chairman, 1943. It's always in hindsight that we go, how crazy were these people? Television won't be around for more than 6 months. People will soon get bored staring at this box in their living room. 20th Century Fox, one of the biggest entertainment producers. Netflix isn't even on our radar screen to be competition against us. Blockbuster closed their last store a couple of years ago. Who remember Blockbuster? Civic Video. Yep. No more. They don't exist anymore. I think the metaverse is a fad because you know what? I just don't get it. Emile Rademeyer, Vandal, 2022. Let's have a look. Can we spot a pattern here? What do you reckon? Let's see. I love this pattern. It's called the 50 million people pattern. Let's have a look. Telephone. It took 75 years for the telephone to reach 50 million people. Radio. It took radio 38 years to reach 50 million people. Television, 13 years to reach 50 million people. The internet, 4 years to reach 50 million people. YouTube, 10 months. Pokemon Go, 19 days to reach 50 million people. Coinbase is a cryptocurrency exchange that showed an ad with a bouncing QR code during Super Bowl. 120 seconds for 50 million people to sign up, and then their servers crashed. Do we see a pattern of digital disruption here? Not only do we see it, but it's exponential. The curve is not linear, the curve is like this, straight up. Digital disruption in the World Wide Web, online shopping. Remember this bookstore called Amazon that started in a garage? Yeah. It's one of the most valuable companies now. I think they have over $1 trillion in value. The richest guy in the world, between him and Elon Musk, he just took a really strange shaped spaceship and he went all the way into space because he can. Software, Microsoft, another young kid that started in a garage. Hardware, the Apple iPhone, how much did this change us? Again, started in a garage. Transport, Uber, how much did Uber disrupt the taxi industry? Photo albums, who still has a physical photo album? Thank you. Thank you, too, thank you. Instagram is my photo album. Dating, Tinder, you can go through all these things that has disrupted our lives with the current internet, Internet 2. So the digital disruption in the metaverse. Currently, cryptocurrency is worth over $2 trillion. Part of that, half of that, the metaverse environment, is $1 trillion. Ethereum wallets, we've got 188 million people. Coinbase users, 73 million people. Sandbox, 40 million. Snoop Dogg just bought some land in the sandbox, and basically somebody paid almost $1 million for the land next to him. So it's basically the pixel next to his pixel. The Australian population is 26 million people. Now let me rub that in our faces. There's almost as much people in the sandbox, a non-existent virtual environment, than there's the amount of people in the Australian population. And then we've got this company called Meta, previously known as Facebook. Is anyone from Facebook here? Well, they've just changed their name from Facebook to Meta because I think they think something is coming, but they're lagging behind. Their Horizon metaverse platform only has 0.3 million people currently, so they're trying to catch up to the new kids in town. Digital disruption in the metaverse, I reckon it's monumental. But you know what? It's only started. We are still the young punks in the garage. We haven't even reached our big status in the third internet yet. We're still tinkering. We're still Bill Gates, young punk. We're still Steve Wozniak from Apple soldering computers together on a milk crate. Okay, I'm going to wrap it all into the future. What does that mean for us? This is the last thoughts that I'm going to leave you with. And I think we should ask somebody really trustworthy what he thinks. So I'm going to ask Mark Zuckerberg from Feta.
I wish I could keep telling you that our mission in life is connecting people, but it isn't. We just want to predict your future behaviors. Spectre showed me how to manipulate you into sharing intimate data about yourself and all those you love for free. The more you express yourself, the more we own you.
Oops, wrong clip. Sorry, guys. Let's ask somebody else trustworthy. Kim Kardashian. Anyone from Kim's crew here? No? Okay.
When there's so many haters, I really don't care because their data has made me rich beyond my wildest dreams. My decision to believe in Spectre literally gave me my ratings and my fan base. I feel really blessed because I genuinely love the process of manipulating people online for money.
Sorry, wrong clip again. The metaverse. Is it monumental? Or is it just absolutely mental? Here's the thing about us. It's up to us, because in the same way that we are shaping the destiny of our physical world, we are shaping the destiny of our digital world. So it's up to us what we make of it. Is this the digital world that you want? That wherever you go, you're just bombarded with digital information, a smorgasbord of pollution in the digital world? The metaverse is monumental, but you know what? It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to you guys. Because it is up to us. How are we going to shape the next internet, the next us, the brands we consume, the things we do, the things we visit? It is up to us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your future. Welcome to the metaverse. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to start. I have a question, and then Justin.
Yes.
Do you own an NFT?
Yes, I.
Repeat the question. And then
The question is, do I own an NFT? Yes, I own an NFT, and yes, I own cryptocurrency as well.
what's your NFT?
My NFT is that recently, who's familiar with the artist Gustav Klimt?
Yeah.
Gustav Klimt, The Kiss, it's one of his most famous artworks. And basically, they divided the artwork into 10,000 squares, and I purchased one of those squares. So I own 1/10,000th of Gustav Klimt. Don't ask me how much I paid for it.
No, that's amazing. Okay, so we have a question from the back. Justin.
I was just thinking, like, you're so positive about potentially what we can do, but I also like that thing. That's really scary, given the computer power that world needs to exist in like climate crisis. I guess in what you explored, how do you end of humanity?
Yeah, great question. The question is, what does this mean for humanity? What does it mean for sustainability? We need this immense amount of computer processing power, which runs off electricity, which runs off the grid, which runs off coal and oil. What is this the end of us, or is it the beginning of us? Well, I guess I don't know is the short answer. What I do know is that it's up to us. So no one else is pulling the strings except us. And I think that's the point that I want to leave with this is this the end because we've just kind of got ourselves in this situation and it's all over? Or is this really time to make a change? Because rather than manufacturing 1 billion cheap fashion garments that you only wear once, you can buy a digital garment that you can wear forever. So yes, sustainability is a big concern. The sustainability of mining Bitcoin is a concern. There's a big push for sustainable crypto layers and environments that works on a different mechanism than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is proof of work, which means the computer needs to work to process the mathematical equations. Then there's proof of stake, which means it doesn't process the information, you just hold some of that cryptocurrency. I think the point is we're in the garage phase now, so it's really up to us to steer it where we want to be. Do we want the next Amazon of the world to be good or to be bad? Do we want the metaverse to be good or to be bad? And I think that's up to us, for us to make the change. Yes?
We've got, like talking to the present moment, we've all been working from home, and as we're all shifting back, employers are requiring people to come back to the office, which is a huge pain in the arse for some and know what they want, and also a good thing for some. Where do you see the metaverse's opportunity in crafting that future workplace?
Yeah, great question. We've all been working from home. The question is, we've all been working from home. We're now going back to work. Not everyone likes that. What does that mean for the metaverse and this digital world that we're sculpting? Well, I think, firstly, you're going back to work, but your work is one address in a physical dot on planet Earth. And digital communication has allowed us to communicate with people all over the world instantly. In the olden days, I would write a letter. The guy on the horse would come and pick it up. He would take it to a boat. The boat would travel for 3 months, and my letter, my communication would get there. Then with email, that changed, because I can immediately write a message, and it would be there to my receiver instantaneously. And then Twitter came along, which means I can communicate with anyone at any time instantaneously that wants to hear what I've got to say. So I think that's where this digital world is now merging with the physical world. I mean, other than your email signature, your email doesn't really represent you. So I think of that email signature now to really represent you in the digital world, a avatar, a digital representation of you that then can go and attend a meeting either at the address next door to your workspace or to the office in London. In my mind, we are not, I was going to say, we're not getting more disconnected from each other, but then technology, unfortunately, does make us disconnect from each other. So the ultimate goal, I think, is to be able to represent who you are more effectively to anyone at the world instantaneously through the metaverse. Yes?
When you talk about, like, we can pull a string, like it's up to us to pull the string,
Yeah.
what does that look like? You know, like,
Yeah.
what does pulling a string look like? I always think little old me, I'd love to do
Yep.
that. I'm on board. What does it look like in everyday life to pull a string?
Little old me, what does it mean to pull a string and for us to really change the course of this? Well, it only takes one person to make a difference. And it has to start with somebody. So who's it going to start with? You? Maybe. Maybe you feel passionate about something and you make a stand. Maybe I feel passionate about something and I make a stand. And from one, what's the saying? From small thing, from From little things, big things grow. So I think ultimately, how do you consume your media? What do you interact with? What web pages do you visit? What digital goods do you purchase? What physical goods do you purchase? By making a change, you can change reality, the digital world, slowly. And I might just link that back to a project that we did at Vandal a couple of years ago, and it was for multiple myeloma, for cancer. Basically, we had this big digital billboard, and it had a representation of a cancer cell slowly growing over time. And I could change the cancer cell by walking up to the digital billboard and tapping my credit card for $1.99. So I can donate insignificant amount of money, $1.99. But when I tapped that digital billboard, the cancer cell shrunk. And now people saw that happening. So somebody else walked up and tapped it, $1.99, and it shrank some more. Somebody else came and tapped it, it shrank some more. It shrank until there was nothing left. So what does it mean? It doesn't mean that I need to go and donate $1 million. I just need to do my bit. And if we all do our bits, little bits at a time, I think we can make a monumental change, and we can shape the future in which it goes. Thank you.
We have one more question. Is there one more?
Yes.
When do you think all this is going to become mainstream?
Yeah, good question. When is all of this becoming mainstream? Well, I think it's mainstream already. I just don't think we've caught up to it yet. I think, like any new technology, it starts on the fringes. It is the nerds that are putting computers together in their garages. Now it's us using computers without even thinking. So sure, at the moment, maybe it's the nerds putting the crypto space together, but from the fringes, it just comes and it goes smaller, goes smaller, goes smaller, goes smaller. It's like anything. It's like a $50 million chart. Only the rich people had a telephone in their house. Now we're all walking around with our telephones.
Do you see any indication of a rebellion to like more analog in real life, especially post-COVID? We're coming out of this mindset where the metaverse isn't all that.
Yep.
I mean, maybe that's a old kind of like I'm pre-internet, so I see that connection. I see value in there. And coming out of COVID, I'm like, man, I'm gonna put the screen down for a little bit.
Yep.
I'm gonna go read a newspaper. Like, I see other people doing it too.
Will there be a revolt against the digital and we all go analog? Maybe, and I guess
not all, but
some. Yeah, I mean, I remember buying CDs. Now people don't even know what a CD is. And vinyl is back.
So is VHS.
So is VHS. Because there's, it's,
it'll be like analog will be just cool.
yeah, it's cool. But here's the problem. If I walk into a store with my $50 note, they go, "Oh, sorry, we don't take cash. We want you to pay with card." So in a way, I'm forced into this digital world. What does that mean? Sure, there will always be a resurgence for organic food, grow your own veggies, analog, all of that. But I think it's about finding that balance. I think if the balance is like that, we're screwed.
Yeah.
If we can get that equilibrium between the digital and the physical correct, then I think we're good. And again, it's up to you, everyone here.
Okay, guys.
Thank
we
you.
probably have to end it there. Give
Thanks, guys. Thanks for staying. Thank you.